Kylie and welcome to week 2 of Amp It Up August, hosted by the lovely Amanda Christina from Heavenly Imaginings, and this week it's all about Christmas cards. For my first project, I use Vintage Christmas by Authentic, and the papers are just stunning. But I only used a tiny amount. I also used this deer die from AliExpress, and I'll pop the link down below. He's really cute. I also used these 6x6 page protectors, well, one, and I just cut off where the rings go. I used this Open Studio stamp set, this Stampin' Up Tiny Tag stamp set. I just used the Merry with the matching little tag die, and of course I use a tassel die. And here's my little project. I made the pouches in the scrapbook sleeve or page protector, and it's very simple. It's open at the back so you can put some goodies down in there, and the papers from the collection, some seam binding, the tassel from the paper, some jingle bells, and the Open Studio Merry Christmas sentiment. It's just open and close with a little piece of Velcro, and you can slip this out or you can pull out the cards, and these are my simple cards. So there's that little deer that I've cut out using craft cardstock. This is from the Vintage Christmas by Authentic, and I've got some little jingle bells, and the sentiment is by the Open Studio, and so here's the same, and they're, if I can open it up, blank inside, and these are using some Kaiser Craft card blanks, and of course we have to have a little gem on his nose. And this is more or less the same design, but this time I've used the Stampin' Up Merry little stamp there, and just punched out an extra little tag, and of course a little gem for his nose, and this one again. So that was super easy to make. It took no time, and I really liked how he turned out. I've made this card design a few years ago, but I used another die which I lost years ago. So when I saw the die on Ali, I was very happy. So that's a very simple project, very easy to make, and I just was really happy with how it turned out. For my next lot of cards, I made some crisscross cards. I have not made them for years, and I thought it'd be something different, a fun fold card. And so I used different paper ranges because I found the rest of my Christmas stash, so I had to use it. So I'll show you my cards. For the first card, I use this Carter Bella range, Merry and Bright. Oops, and I'll just pop that over there. And this is the card. Very simple. Oops, we've got a bit up there, and it just pulls out. So enough room there for my message, or if I choose to stamp a sentiment later on, and that just goes back in there. So easy. My next one, I use Simple Stories, the Claude & Co paper range. It's getting used a bit more. It's going down. Oh, I just love this range. And here is this one. So I just popped the jingle bell on top of the paper clip, and he just pulls out. And so I stuck the lights, well, strung up the lights on top of the card, and that's the insert there. And that just goes in. The next paper range I used was by Prima, Sweet Peppermint. I forgot I even had this, so it was like going shopping in my stash. So I used that one, and this is very simple. I use some cream cardstock, and here is very simple again. It just slides back in. Once again, enough room for my message or a stamped sentiment later on. My next one I used paper range is by Craft, and it's Mint Wishes. Such a pretty range. And also the collectibles. And here's what this one looks like. I used a rustic little jingle bell and some lace. And you just pull him up. And that's the insert. So I've got my space to write my message there. And he pops in there, and I just added a few little pearls. Oh yeah, I really liked how that one turned out. The next one I made was using Craft again, Letters from Santa. This is a really pretty paper range. Might have to hunt this down. Hopefully the Kaiser outlet might have some. And also the collectibles. And this is how he turns out. I used my tassel die, and I made a tassel, and I used my Stampin' Up! Tab punch to make the tabs. And he's on some foam dots. And the belly bands are all permanently adhered down on each of the cards. And that's what he looks like. Nice and simple. And on the back, I popped a border, something a bit different. And it just slides back in there. So they're my little crisscross cards. They're really fun to create. So doing something a little bit different than an opening top loader that I seem to do, or a side opening. My next lot of cards, I used the Vintage Christmas again by Authentique, and these are so easy to put together because as I was flipping through the pad, they had this cut apart page, and so I used the whole page to make 6 different cards. And I used some offcuts, some scraps, and so I've got a whole heap up, and I've got another project in mind to finish using this. So I've also used some Tim Holtz Ideology little charms here with some Christmas words, some of these rustic bells, and I'll pick those up from AliExpress, and I'll pop the link down below. These pear-shaped pins, I also got those from AliExpress. And some crocheted lace, this is from the Reject Shop. And some taffeta vanilla ribbon that I've had forever from the good old Stampin' Up! Days, and that's in vanilla. So here's my first one. Very simple, and I just inked around the edges on the card panel and the card base using some tea dye ink. And just some twine, the ribbon and the bells. I don't know if you can see it, I used my Wink of Stella pen and put some glitter around the fur on his hat and his cuff. And inside I've just popped in plain white insert. So that's my first one. This is the second one. And I've put the Winker Stella around the little boy's pom-pom, the trim of his hat and his scarf, and this little tree here with the snow, but it's not picking up very well. And a plain insert in there too. This is the third one. And I put the Winker Stella on the rooftop and on the children's clothes. But it's not picking up very well. And here's the plain insert. This is my next one. I've got the crocheted lace around the card. I've got Joyful and the Rustic Bell. These are by K & Company, these felt poinsettia flowers. So I found those in my stash. And the inside. And that's all been inked with the tea dye ink. I think this is so cute. These are like the children at the toy store. How cute is that? Really beautiful illustrations. And I'll put the Winker Stella on the little girl's dress and the little boy's scarf there. So I thought, oh, as they're in the toy store, I thought I'd put Santa for the little charm and a white felt poinsettia. And that's the inside. I thought I used the paper because it's got a sheet where it's got children's writing with letters to Santa. And I thought that was really, really cute. And so I did that on the front cover as well. And my last one, I have to say, I absolutely love this one. It's the image. It just reminds me of when I was a little girl doing baking with my mum at Christmas time, and how I carried on to my sons, which the only time they do take interest is being in the kitchen is at Christmas time, food, and yeah, so I really, really love this one. She is so cute. And of course I added a bit of the Winker Stella on the holly wreath and her little apron and the holly in her hair. She is just adorable. I really, really love this. I would have loved to put a gingerbread charm, but I didn't have any, so now I have to hunt some down. And I put festive there on the little token. I thought, you know, she's doing her festive baking. And of course I put some of the crocheted lace trim around the panels. And I thought candy canes, you know, in the kitchen and food. And it's just very simple in there. And it's all been inked with the tea dye. So that's my last card. That's all my cards. I hope that's given you a few ideas. I really enjoyed putting them together. It was different being in the middle of winter, putting together Christmas cards instead of sweating. So thank you very much for stopping by, and please go and check out the other ladies. I know for a fact they've got some wonderful and awesome goodies for you to feast your eyes upon. So till next week, take care, have a beautiful weekend, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Until then, take care and keep smiling. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye.